All right, so this is for my teenagers and I guess adults too, but it's more so of an adult conversation, but understandably so. Younger kids are exposed to these things as well, so but definitely mature audience is needed. But the purpose of these conversations is to have them. It is to have them and to speak up on them and to hopefully educate and talk about the things that aren't openly discussed in areas and spaces where it needs to be. So, and I'm okay, and I believe my Father is okay with me doing so. My Father being Jesus, and let's start having these conversations with our youth of today. All right, so let's talk about legalism versus love, right? And of course, just about everything I talk about is going to be based in, coming from the Bible or based upon the Bible and God. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm reading from a book called Every Young Woman's Battle. Legalism versus love. When it comes to sexual integrity, most people want a list of do's and don'ts, cans and can'ts, shoulds and shouldn'ts. They want to know, what can I get away with? How far can I go? What's too far? However, a list of laws about what we can and can't wear, should and should not do, and say and so on isn't the best answer, because these guidelines only address our physical actions. But what about our motivations and thoughts when we select our clothes or choose what behaviors are appropriate or inappropriate in a relationship? You need a standard of sexual integrity that will address not just your physical behaviors, but emotional and mental behaviors as well. How can we develop a set of rules that will cover our minds, hearts, and bodies? The answer lies not in legalism, which is defined as abiding by a set of strict laws, but in Christian love. God boiled the many rules and regulations set out in the Old Testament down to just 10 commandments. Then in the New Testament, Jesus reduced all those laws down to only 2. If you live by these 2 commandments, you will live a life of sexual integrity. These 2 laws are explained when Jesus responded to the question, which is the greatest commandment? Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments. Matthew 22, verse 37 through 40. Jesus was saying that the law isn't what is important. Love is. If you love God, love your neighbor and love yourself in that order. Then you can live far above any set of rules or regulations. When you live by the spirit of love, you are free. You are free from any legalistic standards. Paul echoed this form of freedom with responsibility when he wrote, everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is permissible, but not everything is constructive. Nobody should seek his own good, but the good of others. Paul was saying you can do most anything, but it isn't always in your best interest or the interest of others. Focus not on what is allowed, but on what is best for all involved. How does this apply to sexual integrity? Pick any issue and sift it through this law versus love filter. There is no law against flattering clothes, but is your motive in wearing them to build others up or to build up your own ego by turning a guy's head? We have freedom of speech in this country, but are the things you say to guys in their best interest Or are your words merely a tool to manipulate them into giving you the attention you crave? The Bible doesn't prohibit French kissing. But is it a loving thing to do to get a guy's juices flowing? Not to mention your own. Awakening sexual desires that shouldn't be satisfied outside of marriage. Look beyond the movements to the motivations behind your actions. By doing this, you no longer have to concern yourself with the law because you are acting by a higher standard, a standard of love. The columns of figure 3.2 comparing questions of compromise to questions of integrity show the difference between evaluating your motives and behaviors through the lens of legalism versus evaluating them through the lens of love. So I'm going to go ahead and read the 3.2. Questions of compromise. Don't ask. Are my actions lawful? Questions of integrity. Do ask. Are my actions loving to others? Don't ask. Will anyone find out? Do ask. Is this something I'd be proud of? Don't ask. Would anyone condemn me? Condemn me or like shame you, right? Do ask. Is this my highest standard? Don't ask. Is this socially acceptable? Do ask. Is this in line with my convictions? Do you have any? What are your convictions? Does this align with them? Don't ask. Are my clothes too revealing? Do ask. Am I dressing for attention? Don't ask. How can I get what I want? Do ask. What is my motive for wanting this? Don't ask. Can I get away with saying this? Do ask. Would this be better left unsaid? Don't ask. Will this hurt anyone? Do ask. Will this benefit others? Legalism, questions of compromise versus questions of integrity. God holds each of us accountable to do what we know to do. If you want to be a young woman of sexual integrity, you may need to let go of some of your freedoms in dress, thoughts, speech, and behavior. In order, let me tell you why, in order to serve the best interest of others out of love. Not only will God provide this knowledge of how to act with integrity, He will also honor you if you apply this knowledge and act with responsibility. Legalism versus love. Thank you so much. Come back again. Bye.